Imagine waking every morning knowing the ground beneath your home is still alive, quietly breathing through fire and ash. Only a few kilometers away, children laugh beside calm turquoise waters where life feels peaceful, almost untouched by time. Fire and water exist side by side here, shaping one of the most extraordinary island nations anywhere in the Pacific Ocean. More than 80 islands are scattered across these waters, each protecting traditions that have survived for countless generations. Some communities still gather each evening inside a simple nakamal, sharing quiet conversations over bowls of traditional kava. Others continue ceremonies that outsiders might mistake for impossible, yet locals simply call them tradition. Freshwater springs emerge from ancient limestone forests, creating pools so clear they seem almost impossible to believe are completely natural. Yet modern phones now connect villages where stories were once carried only through memory and spoken language. Despite volcanoes, cyclones, and rising seas, many families still choose to remain exactly where their ancestors once began. What keeps people rooted to islands where nature constantly reminds them how powerful and unpredictable it can truly be? Before we begin, tell us which country you're watching from and what time it is where you are right now. Now, let's discover why one of Earth's most remote island nations continues to inspire everyone who visits its shores. Before sunrise, the people of Tanna wake beneath a volcano that has quietly shaped their lives for countless generations. Long before the first voices are heard, a deep rumble echoes across the island from somewhere beneath the earth. Yet only a few kilometers away, village life begins calmly as families prepare for another ordinary day together. Smoke rises from simple cooking fires while children walk barefoot across volcanic soil without showing the slightest concern. From above, the volcano seems impossibly close, reminding every visitor that nature remains the true architect of this island. Fine volcanic ash settles quietly across rooftops, gardens, and narrow paths long before anyone notices it has arrived. For local families, these quiet reminders of the volcano have become as familiar as changing seasons. Instead of destroying everything, volcanic minerals slowly create fertile soil that continues feeding entire communities year after year. Every harvest here tells the same story. Danger and abundance often grow from exactly the same piece of land. To understand Vanuatu, we must first understand why people choose to trust a mountain that never truly sleeps. Many visitors come searching for dramatic eruptions, but the real story begins in the quiet moments between each distant roar. As the sun climbs higher, farmers walk toward gardens their families have cultivated across generations of volcanic soil. Every path across Tanna tells the same story, where fresh harvests begin with the minerals left behind by ancient eruptions. Taro, cassava, bananas, and yams thrive here because the volcano quietly feeds the land beneath every growing season. What appears dangerous from afar often becomes the very reason entire communities continue living successfully on this island. Unlike many places, homes here stand without fences, allowing daily life to flow naturally from one family to another. Children rarely ask permission before entering a neighbor's home because every adult shares responsibility for every child. Here, belonging is measured less by property than by the strength of relationships connecting every household in the village. This quiet sense of community has helped families endure earthquakes, storms, volcanic ash, and countless unexpected challenges together. In Tanna, survival has never depended on facing nature alone, but on facing it side by side with others. As daylight slowly fades, another tradition quietly begins in villages scattered across the island of Tanna. Men gather inside the nakamal, a simple meeting house where conversation remains more valuable than noise or distraction. Instead of alcohol, many share bowls of freshly prepared kava, a traditional drink made from the roots of a native plant. Its earthy taste surprises many visitors, but for local communities, kava represents calm, respect, and shared understanding. Evening conversations continue without hurry, allowing stories, advice, and memories to pass naturally from one generation to the next. Here, knowledge is rarely written down. It survives because people continue telling the same stories again and again. Many of those stories begin with the volcano, not as an enemy, but as an ancient neighbor sharing the same island. The mountain has always demanded respect, yet it has also given fertile soil, fresh water, and a place to belong. For many families, leaving would mean losing far more than a home. It would mean leaving part of themselves behind. That deep connection explains why many people choose to remain, even when life here is never completely predictable. As darkness settles across Tanna, Mount Yasur begins revealing the quiet power hidden inside its ancient crater every single night. Small bursts of molten rock briefly light the sky before disappearing again into the darkness surrounding the mountain. The sound arrives a few moments later, deep, distant, and steady, echoing across forests and open volcanic plains. Visitors often stand in silence, realizing they are witnessing one of the few places where nature remains completely untamed. For local families, however, tomorrow will begin exactly as it always has, with gardens, neighbors, and ordinary routines. Their greatest strength is not defeating nature, but learning how to live beside it with patience and quiet resilience. Perhaps that is why happiness here is measured less by comfort and more by connection, purpose, and belonging. The volcano may shape the land, but generations of people have shaped the spirit that gives this island its identity. Yet Vanuatu is far more than a nation of volcanoes. Another landscape waits just beyond the next island. There, crystal clear fresh water, hidden forests, and quiet lagoons reveal a completely different side of this remarkable country. Our journey now leaves the fire behind, following the water that has sustained life across these islands for countless generations. Only a short flight away, the sound of volcanic thunder gives way to flowing water and whispering rainforest. Espiritu Santo is the largest island in Vanuatu, where fresh water quietly shapes life as deeply as fire shapes Tana. Hidden beneath the forest canopy are remarkable freshwater springs known locally as the Blue Holes. Unlike volcanic lakes, these pools are constantly renewed by underground springs flowing through ancient limestone beneath the island. The water is so transparent that fallen branches resting several meters below appear almost close enough to touch. For local communities, these springs are not simply beautiful places. They provide fresh water every single day. Children often learn to swim here before they are old enough to travel far beyond their own villages. Life slows beside the water, where every reflection seems to mirror the quiet rhythm of the surrounding forest. The rainforest itself protects these springs, filtering rainwater naturally before it reaches the hidden limestone reservoirs below. Every drop completes a journey that may have begun high above the island weeks or even months earlier. Unlike many tropical rivers, these waters remain remarkably clear because they emerge naturally through layers of ancient limestone. Sunlight filters through towering trees, creating shifting patterns that dance quietly across the calm surface below. Birdsong replaces the distant roar of volcanoes, reminding visitors how dramatically nature changes between Vanuatu's neighboring islands. For generations, these forests have provided food, medicine, building materials, and shelter long before modern supplies ever arrived. Nothing here exists alone. Forest, water, and people depend upon one another in quiet balance every single day. Eventually, these freshwater streams continue their journey toward another landscape waiting beyond the trees. Along the northern coast, white sand gradually replaces volcanic rock, while the Pacific reveals an entirely different character. Champagne Beach is often celebrated for its soft white sand and exceptionally clear turquoise water. Yet beneath the shallow water, something unusual quietly happens where tiny bubbles rise continuously from the sandy seabed. This remarkable natural phenomenon inspired the beach's famous name, long before international travelers ever discovered this coastline. For many island families, the ocean is not simply a beautiful view. It has always been their oldest provider. Before sunrise, fishermen quietly prepare their wooden canoes, following routines learned from parents and grandparents long before them. The sea changes every day, yet experience often reveals what modern instruments cannot easily predict. Wind direction, wave patterns, and the movement of birds quietly guide decisions made before every journey begins. Knowledge here is carried through observation, repeated every day until it becomes part of ordinary life. Children often begin learning beside the shore, watching quietly before taking their first journey onto open water. Fishing remains deeply connected to respect, taking only what families need instead of everything the ocean can offer. That balance has allowed coastal communities to depend upon these waters across countless generations without exhausting their natural resources. Returning home, today's catch quickly becomes tomorrow's shared meal, strengthening relationships as much as it provides nourishment. Here, sharing food has always mattered more than displaying abundance, a value that continues shaping everyday community life. As afternoon slowly fades, another daily tradition begins, bringing families together long before the evening meal is finally served. Preparing lap takes time, patience, and many helping hands, making the cooking itself an important part of community life. Fresh coconut milk is carefully mixed with grated root vegetables before everything is wrapped inside broad banana leaves. The wrapped bundles are placed over heated stones, then slowly covered with earth to cook for several hours. There are no timers or modern ovens here, only experience passed carefully from one generation to the next. While the food slowly cooks, conversations continue beneath the trees, filling the afternoon with laughter, stories, and quiet companionship. Meals here are rarely rushed, because sharing time together is considered just as important as sharing the food itself. When the earth oven is finally opened, fragrant steam rises into the evening air, announcing that everyone is welcome. No one eats alone if neighbors happen to arrive, because generosity remains one of Vanuatu's strongest unwritten traditions. These everyday moments reveal that water has nourished far more than forests, rivers, and coastlines. It has sustained entire communities. But to truly understand Vanuatu, we must look beyond its landscapes and discover the traditions that continue shaping every generation. Looking only at economic statistics, Vanuatu may appear to have limited financial resources compared with many developed nations. Yet numbers alone cannot fully explain how many families experience daily life across these remarkable islands. For countless households, the most important necessities come directly from the land, forests, and surrounding ocean rather than supermarkets. Family gardens produce root crops, fruits, and vegetables that have sustained island communities for generations. Fishing adds another essential source of food, often providing enough to share with relatives and neighboring families. Because many basic needs are met locally, cash is not always required for every part of daily life. This way of living does not eliminate hardship, but it can reduce dependence on goods imported from overseas. Communities continue supporting one another through shared work, shared harvests, and shared responsibility during difficult times. These strong social connections often become just as valuable as financial wealth when unexpected challenges arise. Here, prosperity is sometimes measured not only by income, but also by security, belonging, and mutual support. Many homes remain modest in appearance, yet they are often surrounded by gardens that provide food throughout much of the year. Seasonal harvests encourage neighbors to exchange food, strengthening relationships while reducing unnecessary waste within the community. These informal exchanges rarely involve written agreements, relying instead upon trust built over many years together. Children grow up watching cooperation become an ordinary part of everyday life rather than an exceptional act of generosity. This spirit of cooperation becomes especially important when powerful storms or earthquakes affect the islands without warning. After severe weather passes, rebuilding often begins immediately, supported by relatives, neighbors, and the wider community. Resilience here is strengthened not only by practical skills, but also by knowing that help is never far away. Visitors sometimes describe the islands as peaceful, while residents simply recognize them as home. The pace of life may feel slower, yet every day remains filled with meaningful work, family, and shared responsibility. Perhaps true wealth cannot always be measured by what people own, but also by what they never have to face alone. Even so, life across these islands is far from effortless, and many families face challenges that cannot be overlooked. Communities are spread across more than 80 islands, making transportation both expensive and heavily dependent on weather conditions. For some residents, reaching a hospital, secondary school, or government office can require hours of travel. Essential goods often arrive by ship, increasing costs and limiting availability in more isolated communities throughout the archipelago. Cyclones remain another constant reality, testing homes, crops, and infrastructure with little warning during the storm season. Communities prepare carefully each year, strengthening homes, protecting food supplies, and helping vulnerable neighbors before severe weather arrives. After every storm, rebuilding becomes a shared effort that reflects the same cooperation seen throughout everyday village life. Climate change now adds another layer of uncertainty, especially for low-lying coastal communities facing gradual shoreline erosion. Some villages have already begun adapting, moving buildings farther inland while protecting freshwater sources and valuable farmland. The future may bring difficult choices, yet the determination to protect both people and tradition remains remarkably strong. Despite these challenges, many communities continue finding practical solutions without losing the values that have guided them for generations. Progress here is often measured by stronger communities, healthier families, and greater opportunities for future generations. Across the islands, local initiatives continue improving education, healthcare, and infrastructure while respecting traditional ways of living. Many young people now balance modern education with the cultural knowledge shared by parents, elders, and their communities. Their future may look different from previous generations, yet their roots remain closely connected to these islands and traditions. Perhaps that balance between change and continuity is one of Vanuatu's greatest strengths in an increasingly connected world. The islands remind us that development does not always require abandoning identity, community, or respect for the natural environment. Instead, lasting progress often begins by protecting the relationships that hold a society together through both success and hardship. That perspective offers an important lesson, not only for Vanuatu, but for communities around the world. Yet the greatest questions facing these islands may still lie just beyond today's horizon. As Vanuatu looks toward the future, preserving both its people and its remarkable heritage has never mattered more. Every generation inherits these islands, but each must also decide what kind of future it hopes to leave behind. Protecting Vanuatu's future means safeguarding far more than beautiful beaches and tropical forests. It also means preserving languages, traditions, and knowledge that exist nowhere else on Earth. Around the country, local communities continue protecting forests, reefs, and freshwater sources that support everyday life. Healthy coral reefs remain especially important, providing food, protecting coastlines, and supporting marine biodiversity throughout the archipelago. Scientists and local communities increasingly work together to better understand how changing oceans affect island ecosystems. Across many villages, traditional knowledge continues guiding decisions alongside modern science, rather than competing against it. This partnership offers new opportunities while respecting the wisdom that has sustained these islands for countless generations. Tourism also plays an important role when it supports local communities while protecting the landscapes visitors come to admire. The greatest journeys often leave places better protected, ensuring future generations can experience the same remarkable landscapes. For young people growing up here, the future will likely combine opportunities their grandparents could scarcely have imagined. Many pursue higher education while remaining closely connected to the families, islands, and traditions that shaped their childhood. Some choose careers in healthcare, education, conservation, or tourism, helping strengthen communities across the archipelago. Others continue farming, fishing, and building traditional skills that remain essential to everyday life throughout the islands. Different paths may shape different futures, yet each contributes to the resilience of the communities they call home. Perhaps the greatest strength of Vanuatu has never been found in its natural resources alone, but in its people. They have learned to live beside active volcanoes, powerful oceans, and unpredictable storms without losing hope or compassion. Their story reminds us that resilience is rarely built through comfort. It grows through adaptation, cooperation, and shared purpose. Long after the scenery fades from memory, these lessons may remain the most meaningful part of the journey. Perhaps paradise is not a place without challenges, but a place where people continue facing them together. Vanuatu invites us to look beyond postcard landscapes and discover a country shaped by resilience, tradition, and community. If this journey changed the way you see these islands, which story stayed with you the most?